After 8 years of Trudeau, housing costs have doubled. The needed rent has doubled. The needed down payment for your average home doubled. The average mortgage payment for a new home doubled. And before we go again blaming the rest of the world for some phenomenon that is out of his control, let us be very clear about this. The housing inflation in Canada is the worst or very close to the worst of any developed nation. Housing costs have risen 40% faster than incomes under Trudeau, which is by far the worst in the G7. It is the second worst in the OECD. It is double the OECD average. Many OECD countries have actually seen housing affordability improve over the last 8 years. This is not a problem that has been dropped on Justin Trudeau's lap. It is a problem that he created with his inflationary spending and by continually building up the local bureaucracies that block home building. He has made us the second slowest place to get a building permit on planet Earth, and it now costs as much as $1.3 million in governmental red tape and taxes alone for a newly built home in Vancouver, which, by the way, incidentally, is the third most overpriced housing market in the world, comparing average incomes to average house prices. We now have rental increases in Montreal, his home city, of 200%, triple. It used to cost about $750 to rent a place in Montreal when I was housing minister 8 years ago. Now it costs $2,200. And now people who can't pay their rent are forced to go to food banks. 2 million people now going to food banks. 2 million, a record-smashing number. In fact, in Toronto, 1 in 10 people are relying on food banks. The number of people eating at food banks in Toronto today would fill the Rogers Centre 7 times. That is life in Toronto after 8 years of Justin Trudeau winning every single seat in that city. Toronto, what have you got for voting for Justin Trudeau? Your streets are crawling with crime and chaos. You can't afford the rent. There's division like never before in our streets. Places of worship are under attack. People who've lived there all their lives no longer feel at home. The big cities that voted for Justin Trudeau are suffering the most because of his disastrous and costly policies. That is the misery that they have helped bring about. And is it getting any better? In fact, our economy is now shrinking in absolute terms. In per capita terms, it has shrunk in all of the last 6 quarters. We have had the worst per capita GDP growth of any G7 country, meaning smaller paychecks and more desperation for our people. Investment per worker is in drastic decline, meaning that American workers get almost twice the investment of tools and technology of an average Canadian worker. And our jobs move south of the border and into the hands of more powerful economy where our workers lose out. But the good news is, life wasn't like this before Justin Trudeau, and it won't be like this after he's gone. Canadians are hardworking, decent, honorable people. They don't have to live like this. They don't have to give up the things they used to take for granted, like affordable food and homes in safe neighborhoods. They don't have to give up those things for the incompetence and ego of one man. We can do better. And we will do better with a common sense plan. And we're going to give people a very simple choice in the next election. And that is what we will fight for in this session. Let me be very clear, and let me say it again and again. Conservatives will fight throughout this session to axe the tax, build the homes, fix the budget, stop the crime.